Hi, I'm Alexa and welcome to the American Cheerleader, where we discuss professional cheerleading prep, advice for making the team, and ultimately how to live out your dream of being a professional dancer. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about nutrition and what exactly you should be eating if you are planning on becoming a professional dancer. My name is Alexa, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are going to be diving into topics all things professional cheerleading and dance and what it's like to finally hit the field or the court of your dreams. The topic of what to eat before you audition has probably come up in your mind at some point. You might be surprised to know that professional cheerleaders, like every other athlete, eat quite a lot because they have to sustain the energy that they have to put out. Dancing is, after all, an athletic event. But the most important thing is that you are eating the right calories to fuel your body in the way that it needs because you are doing so much dancing. First off, just to give a disclaimer, I'm not a nutritionist and this is not nutritional advice. I am speaking to my own experiences as an NFL cheerleader and seeing my teammates succeed and struggle with their nutrition and health throughout their professional cheerleading journeys. All right, so we will start off by asking, are professional cheerleaders on a diet? And the answer is yes, but not the kind of diet that you might hear about in a magazine or radio ad for weight loss. Diets are constantly changing in our society today. Some people think you should have a gluten-free diet or a dairy-free diet or a carb-free diet or a fat-free diet or a high-calorie or low-calorie, high-protein, low-protein. There are thousands of diets out there today. But a little backstory on what a diet is. A diet is simply a combination of different macronutrients and different proportions to meet a specific goal. Your diet is also just whatever you're eating today. So everyone is on a diet because it's whatever they're eating today. Macronutrients, as you may already know, are protein, fats, carbohydrates, essential nutrients that you need to function. And believe it or not, restricting one of these macronutrients in an excessive way for long periods of time is actually not good for you. They might work in the short term to make you lose weight, for example, low calorie or no carbs, but in the long term, they're not sustainable and they sometimes can make you have even worse off health problems. So you really want to be careful when you're making your professional athlete diet and not necessarily follow a diet fad that happens to be popular today because it probably will be debunked tomorrow. At some point in history, it was trendy to just cut your calories and eat as little as possible. Then it was trendy to not eat fat. People thought fat was bad, and then people thought too much protein was bad, and people thought you should cut out carbs altogether, no carb diet. If you combine all of these ideas that were once a really revolutionary idea at the time, you result in basically eating nothing. So that just goes to show that cutting out foods in extreme ways and extreme dieting is just not the answer. Obviously, the human race was meant to survive on macronutrients and food. My biggest tip for what to eat to get ready for auditions is make sure that your diet is sustainable. For example, if you want to slim down to make auditions, look your best at auditions, I get that. But as soon as you make the team, you're going to be expected to look the same as you did at auditions for the whole year that you're on the team. So if you had to do a very intense, scary diet before auditions, you can't keep that up all year long. Therefore, it is in your best interest to understand how to look and feel your best before auditions because you don't want to make the team and then have to learn that the hard way or starve yourself the entire year to keep on the team. Some teams actually have nutritionists that help the girls out with what they should be eating. Other teams don't. So I would recommend taking it into your own hands, not just for your audition today, but for your life tomorrow and the future. Because if you understand this now, you will be so much better off with everything you try to do in the future. So let's talk about calories for a second. You might think that you want to be on a low calorie diet so you can stay nice and slim for auditions. And in general, low calories, I guess that this is true, but I want to make one really big caveat. There is a big difference between good calories and bad calories. For example, you might go to a fast food restaurant and get a salad. And on that salad, there is this Thousand Island fancy sugary dressing. And that dressing just has sugar and carbohydrates in it. And the salad is a really low quality iceberg lettuce, you know, the lettuce that's like almost white colored and nothing else. You might think you just had a healthy meal because you had a salad. Instead, you could go pick up burger patties from your local grocery store and some buns, some ketchup, and some pickles and make yourself some hamburgers. And it would be way healthier for you than the salad that you got from a fast food restaurant that was low quality and the dressing was just sugar. The dressing probably had a lot of fat as well, so it was probably high in calorie, but all of those calories had no nutrients for you. So it's like spending a lot of money on a shirt that's going to rip tomorrow. It's a low quality shirt, but you spent a lot of money for it because it was high calorie. So think of it like you could buy a burger for less money and it's actually going to pay you out more dividends because it's going to sustain you. It's got more nutrients and protein in it. If you are filling your body with calories that are low quality, like sugar or empty carbohydrates like bread, alcohol, things with a lot of sauces, etc., then you are not only giving yourself poor nutrients, but your body is not going to be able to turn that into energy. So you're going to feel a crash, you're not going to feel energetic, you won't be able to dance, which is the whole goal of your diet in the first place. Then you're going to turn to things like candy and sugar and energy drinks. I remember a little shot block full of energy to get you through the game. So it's kind of a spiral of events that can happen. So how do you make sure that you're eating good calories, not bad calories? The best way to do this is by eating whole foods. This means that everything you're eating is straight out of the garden or the farm, or it's a whole food that you can pronounce. Things like eggs, chicken, high quality lettuce, sourdough bread, fruit, meat, high quality grains like oatmeal. Anything that is packaged at the grocery store has preservatives, added sugars. It can be really scary if you look at something at the grocery store, look at the ingredients on the back, and you might think you're ordering chicken noodle soup, and then you look at the can and yeah, you see some chicken and you see some noodles, but then you see 30 other ingredients that you can't pronounce. These are all fillers that add calories, they probably add sugar. Another good example of this is when you're buying something like almond milk or fat-free milk. All of these kind of dairy products that seem really good for you are often filled with actually just sugar because they're taking out one ingredient and replacing it with something else. So if you can, just buy regular milk, buy regular meat, buy regular vegetables, buy pure grains. Don't buy anything that's been mixed and matched and packaged to appear healthier for you because it's probably not. It's not going to be healthier than if you were to make it yourself. So all of these additives and fillers and sugar that could be in the food you're buying that you think is healthy, could be labeled healthy, could be labeled natural. Just so you know, the word natural, it doesn't actually mean anything, unfortunately. All of these things can eventually be stored as fat. So while it can be very frustrating because you think you're eating something healthy, you might actually not be healthy. A lot of people don't know how to properly nourish their bodies, so they resort to foods that give them energy. And so this means usually low calorie, high sugar foods. But these also result in a crash later on, right? I'm sure you've experienced where you ate something that was really good in the moment and then an hour later you were asleep on the couch or you were really cranky, couldn't get through the rest of the day. That means you ate something that did not satiate your body enough because you crashed. This can actually result in weight gain even if you are eating low calories because your body thinks it's starving because it's being malnourished, malnutritioned. It thinks it's starving so it can store more fat. So this video is not about weight loss per se, but I want to make that really clear point because a lot of people think that in order to be skinny you have to eat less, and that is simply not true. The best thing to do is feed your body with nutrient-dense whole food that will sustain you and make you feel good for long periods of time so that you don't crave those sugars and then eventually crash later. Hope that makes sense. So what kind of foods can somebody eat who wants to be a professional cheerleader? You want to eat the foods that give you energy, make you feel good, and don't leave you with an energy or sugar crash or sugar hangover at the end. So the best way to find out what foods those are for you is to do something like a 5-day food log. Write down what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for 5 days. And there's no judgment here. This is not a diet. And you definitely don't hide anything. If you had a snack, make sure you put it all on there. And then the experiment that you're going to do is an hour after you eat the meal, and then again 2 hours after you eat the meal, write down how you feel. So did your energy go up or did it go down? And you can just simply write good energy or bad energy or cranky or so you're just simply experimenting with the foods and watching how they make your body feel. And then after a few days of doing this, you can kind of change up your macronutrients, your protein, carbs, and fat. So if one day you had all protein for lunch, the next day you had all carbs for lunch, try combining protein and carbs and seeing how that changes how it felt when you just had one or the other. And I would do this well before auditions if you can. If you're preparing for an audition that's in 6 months, now is the perfect time to do this so that you are a pro at what makes your body feel good. I have done this experiment for myself before several times. In fact, I'm kind of doing it every single day. I'm constantly listening to my body, and when I notice that I am cranky or crashing, I think, what did I have to eat 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago? And I try to not do that again, right? So I'm constantly doing this for myself. I'll share my results with you to see if that's helpful. Our bodies all work similarly, so a lot of this probably does apply to you, but you definitely need to do it on your own so you can find out what works best for you. I start the day off with a smoothie that has organic fruit, protein powder, and greens powder. Then I follow that up with 2 eggs and toast, and then one other thing, usually like an avocado. That is how much food I need to sustain me until lunch. I learned this the hard way because I used to get up really early and go to my job in the city at like 6 or 7 a.m. and I didn't have the time to cook breakfast, nor did I even want breakfast that early. So I would just take a piece of toast with me to work. And every day by 9 a.m., I was eating candy out of the candy bowl that was unfortunately located right by my desk. And I needed that candy or else I wasn't gonna make it to lunch. Then I was in a really bad mood at about 11 a.m. around lunchtime because I was crashing from the candy. I had nothing to nourish my body during that time, and it was really bad. That caused a ripple effect of acne, hormone imbalances, which caused bad mood, and etc. So obviously this has to be fixed if you want to be a professional cheerleader, because you want to be calm, beautiful, clear skin, in balance. You don't want to be having these kind of imbalances going on in your body. So that's an example of a meal that did not work for me. Things like a piece of toast or a bagel and cream cheese. Quick breakfast items like that you can just pick up from the store on your way to work often lack full macronutrients and nutrition to get you through until the next meal. Then I started doing the smoothies. If I have my fruit smoothie that has greens powder, protein powder, and then I make up some eggs, that protein and the greens get me through so many more hours than the piece of toast did. And on top of it, I can even have a bagel and cream cheese or extra toast if I want to, as long as I still had the other items. So it wasn't the toast or the bagel and cream cheese that was causing the problem. It was the fact that I was eating the toast and bagel and cream cheese on its own, without anything else. Anyone can make a smoothie. It just takes a minute or two. So just start off with something really high quality to get your day started. Lunch and dinner are generally the same kind of foods, so I won't go into too much detail on those. But lunchtime can be a turkey sandwich with a salad on the side, maybe a chicken pot pie with peas and vegetables, or even a high quality pizza, not a fast food pizza, but a grocery store pizza, handmade pizza, even a frozen pizza with a side of leafy greens and maybe some beets or fruit. When I'm picking up my lunch from a grocery store, which I used to do a lot when I was working full time, I try to pick up all the macronutrients on one plate and different colors on one plate. For example, if I just have pizza, which I love, it's one of my favorite foods ever, but if I just have a slice of pizza, I will feel a crash about 2 hours later. But if I have pizza with a salad and beets and maybe a smoothie on the side, I feel no crash and I feel excellent. So whatever it takes to get me to eat that pizza, I'll do it because I love pizza. Dinner is the same idea. Maybe I'll have a roasted chicken with carrots and potatoes and a salad on the side, or I can make up some rice in my Instant Pot with bone broth and an oven baked salmon or something with asparagus. These are just things that make me feel full and happy at the end of the night. And if I don't have a complete meal, I won't be able to sleep well. I'll be hungry 2 hours later, that kind of thing. So again, meals with lots of high quality protein, high quality grain, and high quality fat. Now, when you make the team, you'll likely have practice in the evenings. We had practice twice a week from about 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So you might be wondering, what do you do about dinner with that schedule? Obviously, you can't have dinner around 6 or 7 p.m. like most people do. So you want to see how you feel around 5 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m. before your practice starts. If you are even the least bit hungry, even if you're not hungry, I recommend eating something. I would make myself a really small frozen meal. It was like a vegetable lasagna, and it was super small. It was probably a couple hundred calories or less, and it would sustain me throughout the practice so that I had energy. But I was still very hungry at the end of practice, so that's when I had my main dinner. If I ever skipped that little lasagna that I would make myself, I would be crashing during practice, tired, not able to focus, and it would be very miserable. Before game or practice, when you're going to be dancing for several hours, you do want to give yourself food and fuel to do that. You just don't want to eat so many calories that it's going to sit really heavy, and then that will actually slow you down. So again, you just want to experiment with it and see what makes you feel best for your practice or game. Then when you get home from practice or the game, you'll likely be very hungry. And that leads me to my last point of this video, which is how to eat well and be healthy and have fun at the same time. A lot of people think when you're on a health food diet or a whole food diet that you can't have cocktails and drinks and fun and french fries, etc. Not true. And of course, when you make the team, I can assure you there will be a lot of fun events, bars, restaurants, parties, bridal showers, birthdays, so many times you want to celebrate and just enjoy with your teammates. And the last thing you want to do is eat really well all day, burn all those calories during your game, and then go out, load up on sugar and carbohydrates, and then have the worst hangover the next day. And you can't avoid that. So there's one thing I did that worked really well for me that allowed me to have fun and still stay healthy. What I did was I ate nourishing, healthy foods first, and then whatever foods I wanted after that. So for example, if you go to a bridal shower or a birthday party for one of your teammates and they have cakes and cocktails and maybe some appetizer foods as well, start by eating the healthy foods first. So get the cheese and crackers or the vegetables with dip. Anything that is real whole food that's going to nourish your body. Fill up on that food first. Once you're full of that food, then you can have cake, cocktails, and whatever you like. I promise you, you will still have room for those items. The last thing you want to do is deprive yourself of having fun, so do so in a responsible way that you won't regret later. You don't want to make yourself sick or have to starve yourself the next day to recover from something like that. And if you're really smart, what you'll start doing is just eat before you go out. So if you know you're going to go to a bar or to a party, just eat a complete meal with protein, vegetables, high quality grain, so you're already satiated before you even get there. Then you don't have to worry about it. I really hope this helped you understand how to get the diet you need to be a professional cheerleader. Just like any other athlete, you need to eat a lot and eat the right things to fuel your body. One book I might recommend is Tom Brady's book on nutrition. He talks about what he eats every day, and you know he's doing something right because of how old he is and what he's able to do as the quarterback for whatever team he's quarterbacking for now. Of course, drinking lots of water is so important, as well as maintaining low stress levels, good sleep, and all that stuff. I could probably talk about this for hours, but you might enjoy Tom Brady's book because he's such a famous football player, and he's very well known for eating a very clean, whole foods diet and drinking a lot of water, and he attributes that diet to his success in the NFL. If you have questions about this topic, or there's another topic that you want me to discuss in my videos, just let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.